7:05, is that right? Yeah. Okay. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. It's behind us over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll seat Thad for Bill. There's an opportunity for public participation. If there's anyone with us tonight that would like to bring forward an issue that isn't already on our agenda this evening, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, the record can show that there is none. We have a new application which has been accepted for 14 Oak Tree Road. Again, it's been accepted. We'll be scheduling a site visit this month for that. Apparently, the site plan has not yet been received, so pending that, we'll schedule a site visit. Old business, we have application 1751, 30 Perkins Road. We have representatives from the owners here also. Okay. Would you like to make a presentation of any kind, or?
Sure, I can show you. So
If you could introduce yourself and.
Hi, Charles Spath, for the record, Principal Stewart Summers Company, 1211 Main Street South. So we're here before the commission. This is an older lot from 1986. The subdivision is the last lot. And the client is looking to relocate the driveway. The driveway is constructed now, but it goes up a steep hill. And so we're looking to move it to a less gradient area, which is within the 50-foot uplands review area. So since the walk today, Carl and Thad, we added to the plan to replace the pipe that's there. That's a 12-inch pipe, and we're going to replace it with a 15-inch concrete pipe, class 5. And that's the only change that was made. I can point it out if anybody needs to see.
Does the commission have any questions for him? Thad and I walked that today. With the snow cover, of course, it makes things just a tad more challenging. The area of wetlands that they show in green there appears to me to be intermittent water flows during storm events and snow melt periods of the year, I think, is kind of how that mostly functions. There's an existing crossing that he was just speaking about with a, what was it, 12-inch aluminum pipe?
Corrugated pipe.
And you're putting a 15-inch
Concrete pipe.
In at the crossing. Originally, this is the last lot in a subdivision up there, correct?
Yeah, the subdivision's from 1986,
Oh, okay.
and
So originally, I guess as proposed, it showed the driveway going up the existing gravel driveway on the left, yeah, and then branching over. After a little more site review, their thought was to move the first portion of the driveway down from that site a little bit. There's kind of like a rocky outcropping in between the two that would have to be removed, perhaps blasted to be removed. So for that reason, and the fact that when you're exiting the driveway on the existing gravel driveway, the car lights and so forth would be going right into the neighboring house over here. When you come to, if you use this driveway, you kind of would be shooting lights right into the back of this house. So moving it has those two benefits. It gives this property owner a little more privacy, It reduces a little bit on the amount of site work involved, but it does put it closer to within the regulated area. I don't know if you wanna speak any more to that, but
And this is the existing crossing that was proposed, so that's gonna remain the same, except that we're gonna replace the pipe, just because it's aluminum and it's shallow cover over it. That's really it.
Okay, so there's nothing here now, it's just a wooden
No.
lot.
Vacant lot,
it's a wooded,
4.2 acres.
wooded interior lot, has some like rocky outcroppings that they're working around.
Okay.
The slopes are minor to moderate, I would say. I didn't find it to be too, you know, too aggressive or anything.
Well, in fact, the driveway, the original driveway was gonna be the steepest part of the whole thing.
That's right, the original part, in this
Right here?
area here would have been the steepest part of the whole thing,
So that
grade,
driveway
grade-wise.
exists, but to put it to the grade, we'd have to blast this out. And
Okay.
that's why we're looking at, this follows the grade more naturally.
Okay.
That's
So,
good.
same crossing, and we noticed today, when we looked up here, these headlights would shine right at that house. It's just something we noticed today.
So this is all gravel? Is this just gonna be covered, it's just gonna let,
It'll
go
probably
back
just
to?
remain there. It's, it's not anything,
Okay.
it rarely gets used. I think it just goes out.
He did say during our visit that he could probably move the driveway away from the wetlands a little more. if we
Down at the
thought-
bottom here?
Yep, down the bottom half, if we think it's necessary. It's pretty flat through there and the grading is minimal, in my opinion. So I don't know if there's a lot to be gained by that, but it's an option if the commission.
Well, what would be gained by moving it away? You know, it's-
Just the proximity really is the only
Yeah.
thing you're gonna gain
yeah.
there.
You know, with the runoff, it's kind of a long driveway, right? You know,
Well, they're
is it
not,
as sensitive? What if are they gonna salt the driveway? You know, sometimes you worry about that getting to a wetland area, it's so close.
I don't have any details on that.
Yeah. And that's the only concern that I would have, it being so close, you know, it just goes right into the wetlands.
In your application, do you have, erosion control plan and that sort of thing, or
Yeah.
is this,
There is an erosion control plan. This is actually, there's just silt fence showing up along here right now.
okay,
It's almost a grade, it's like a 2-foot difference between there. What's proposed is like the grade is about 2
Or is
feet.
that the old one?
the driveway is 2 feet higher than the existing,
There's a 2-foot cut, 2-foot fill.
Okay.
There's not much grade difference. So this proposed contour, that's over that 2-foot contour, that's about a foot. That's about the same on this side. So it's gonna follow the grade. Here, you see how the contours are very close? To get it to be like that, this would all have to be blasted out.
there is another wetlands, to the east of the proposed activities. Again, kinda difficult to tell the nature of it with the snow cover and so forth. But he's out of the regulated area. Was there any grading involved with the garage, or that actually looks to be a pretty flat area right
The
there?
garage it's more the rear of the house,
Okay,
because the house is rectangular, the depth,
yeah,
there's more grading with the pool in the house.
okay.
So with this pool in the house, there's a bit of grading there, but it's not that much. This is the
And
cut.
you are going to put silt fence around that as well?
Yes.
Is that missing off the plan? Or is
So
it on
that's
bigger plan.
Which I added that.
Sonia, do we have a draft resolution for this one, do you know?
Is that the one I gave you, remember I gave you this morning? Not with the,
Carl, we'll add that to the back that is missing on.
Okay.
it was a draft resolution, yes.
No, that's Cooney. It should be in that file.
Oh, that was clean, right?
We don't have one for that. All right. Any more questions?
What's the energy dissipator for? Is that just runoff from?
That's most likely, but there's a curtain drain for the septic, and then there's a curtain drain that follows along here.
Okay, so that gets
Yeah.
let out here. Okay,
And that's been approved by the health department.
okay. What's the WTW dispersal system?
You have to show that now, that's for if there's well treatment needed, you need to show an area for the well treatment, backwash. So it's a health code requirement now.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that it's going in, you just have to show it on the plan.
In case the water needs treatment?
They don't want the treatment going into the septic system because it could affect the septic system naturally.
You mean the
so
pool
water
or the-
softener, water softener backwash?
It's like a pool, but it's really
Yeah.
just a water like a pool filter,
Okay.
but it's a backwash for the water filter for treatment.
So water softener, or just for the pool, you mean?
Nope, that is for water softener.
Softener.
So it's a health requirement that we show.
Right.
that. It may not go there, we just have to show a spot.
Right, right. Well,
Do you have an anticipated start date for this?
I think it's probably close to March or April. I mean, I think we have we have a lot to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's March or April, that's.
Later than that? Okay. Is this, Sonia, is this an action date for this application?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Part of the problem is we don't have a resolution for approval tonight. So if it's not an action date, I'm gonna make a motion then to table this until our next scheduled meeting, and we'll have a resolution prepared for approval.
Thanks.
If we don't have any more questions, that's the motion I'm making.
I'll second.
Any other debate, questions? All in favor?
I-
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Are we free to go?
Yes. You're welcome. You can have these back. So you'll just add the missing silt fence? Thank you. All right, so Bob, you're
I
gonna
gotta
step
recuse
down and
myself.
recuse yourself from this application,
Uh,
right? So
Carl,
unfortunately,
I'm sorry, we don't have a quorum if Bob steps down right now, so
You
can we
wanna
just skip this
move
one and
this
move to
one
the?
end.
Correct, yes,
Okay.
Come on
please.
back, Bob.
Come back,
So
Bob,
Bob,
to get your exercise in. All right, so we will move that discussion till later in the meeting. And we will move on to application 1747, 78 Church Road. Same question, I guess. Do we have we don't have one for this either? A draft resolution? All right. Would you like to make a presentation of any kind on this one, or?
There's been no changes since last time, but I just go over it quick.
Well, Thad and I are familiar with it. Would you two like more information on it, or?
I'm good.
Are we gonna get more next meeting?
we could get it now, we could get it at the next meeting. We don't have a resolution for this one either, I
Yeah,
guess.
so I don't see, I
So you
was
wanna
just
just wait until the
Yeah.
next? Is this an action date for this one? All right, then I'm gonna do the same thing, I guess, with this one. I'll make a motion to table this until our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll
Second.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the Burma Road applications have been, withdrawn for the time being at least. We'll move on to old business F 2024, 66 Peter Road. This is a, bridge replacement down by the library. What's left of the library, I guess. We have a representative of the applicant here, I guess.
My name is Gary Giroux with Carter Engineering. Public Works Department to replace the old field culvert. It got damaged before the last August. Thank you. As you all know and seen, the twin 72-inch pipes that are out there are still functioning, but everything else around is washed away. Oldfield Road has been closed since then, and we are proposing to replace the twin 72-inch RCPs with a 20 by 9 box culvert, reinforced concrete box culvert. There's, wetland impacts. There'll be permanent wetland impacts, approximating 2,400 square feet. Most of it's water with some wetland soils along the edges of the brook itself. We are going to attempt, well, we're going to be putting the brook back in its original condition to the best of our ability at this time. Obviously, because it's a wider structure, there will be some widening of the brook itself and then narrowing down to the existing stream. The town has applied to the Corps of Engineers for 404 permit, and likewise a 401 water quality permit with DEEP for this project. Those two permits are being reviewed right now. They have not obtained them yet, but we expect to get them hopefully by March, because we do want to go out to bid as soon as possible on this. To get the road open again, there are two utilities in the road that we have to take care of during construction, gas and water. They will be installed permanently under the box culvert. Right now, the gas was hung on the downstream side, and the water was above the, well, it was below, I should say, but they're all going below and deeper, and they're gonna be protected with casing pipe.
So between the roadway and the culvert?
No, under the culvert itself, under the culvert,
Under the
deep.
brook, under the culvert.
Yeah,
So you're
Okay.
gonna be digging pretty deep, so it's, are you be routing the water around?
no, underneath. It's gonna stay in pretty much in the same location horizontally, but vertically, it's gonna go underneath the culvert.
But how is see, I'm not familiar with the waterway, so how much water is there? Won't it have to be rerouted?
Oh, the water will temporarily be rerouted. There's a temporary bypass pipe that we install. They'll have to coffer dam upstream and downstream, reroute the water during construction. Hopefully, if it's this summer, water will be lower. But then again, it did happen last August, so who knows what's gonna happen.
Is that a culvert with a bottom?
Yes, there's a bottom. Okay. It is a bottom, does have a bottom, but the culvert will be sunk. There will be 2 feet of natural stream bed material in it. That's at the request of DEEP for fisheries required
Yep.
natural stream bed material inside the culvert. You can see a series of ribbons there, check dams. This is the profile of the brook itself, and we have a series of check dams upstream and downstream. Again, at the request of Deep Fisheries, they wanted these check dams in the brook to promote fish passage up the stream. Even though the fish can't get beyond Garage Road, They still want to,
Those are just temporary? doing
no,
that?
those are permanent.
Those are staying.
Those are permanent. There's a standard, Deep has a standard detail. It's large rocks they stick in the water, which create a small 6-inch to 8-inch high dam that water flows over, and there'll be spaces in between for the fish to go through.
So it's manufactured habitat
Yes,
essentially, right?
that's exactly what it is. And they're gonna continue this going down through Jay Hines'
Oh,
property.
really?
Yeah. Fisheries was out there a couple weeks ago, and I met with them, and Jay is actually, they're proposing to put more check dams down.
He was here a month or so ago, so that's an interesting development, because we sort of suggested that he needed to get a little more input on what to do. out there.
Hopefully, it's all done at the same time.
It's a long stretch.
It's a long stretch.
That got damaged,
Yeah, all the way down to the Pompero.
yeah. Is
So-
there a time frame for this construction?
Again,
Is it low water, or is it, you have other restraints?
there's no other restraints.
No?
The town wants to get it done as soon as possible. The town wants to get it done this year in anticipation of DOT redoing Poverty,
Yeah,
the one-way bridge.
one-way bridge?
That's gonna be closed. So they need this for a detour route.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When was this last pipe put in? Seems like it wasn't that long ago.
I think it was the 70s, to tell you the truth.
Was it that long ago? Okay.
Late 70s, maybe? I mean, the town's been having a lot of problems at this location even before August. They had several washouts where they had to go in and repair the embankments and the roadway. And finally, last August, did them in.
Okay. Action date on this one? Same situation? All right, unfortunately, we're gonna have to table it until we get the resolutions.
Well, we got time. I
Okay,
shouldn't say we have time, but we have time.
okay, fair enough.
Great, thank you.
So I'll make a motion then to table this application F 2024 until our next regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, application 2025-294 Jeremy Swamp Road, Southbury. Obviously, Thad and I were out there today and spoke with Mr. Meyer. The scope of work is relatively small that's required at this location. And again, this is brought on by the extreme flooding that we had. So we spent a fair amount of time explaining the wetland process to him and basically told him that, you know, what he was proposing was reasonable for the most part, I think. But we have to have some sort of a plan on file to approve. We can't just sort of go verbally. So, he's going to work towards that goal, I guess. So I will make a motion to, table application 2025, until the next meeting, and hopefully he'll be able to provide us with some sort of a plot plan or something in the meantime that we can look at. But basically, he has a driveway crossing, and there's nothing really wrong with the driveway crossing per se. It's a cement, culvert, I guess is the word for it, with wing walls on the, upside, and there's some erosion around the wing walls. So after some discussion, you know, we kinda came to terms on what he thinks he wants to do there. And then he also was asking about his shed, which is on the back side of the house, well away from any wetland setbacks or anything. So that's really a non-event for us, so to speak. So if he can come in with a plan, it should be pretty straightforward, I think.
Well, also, one of the things that we discussed was, he talked about kind of cutting down all the crappy-looking weeds and planting stuff in there. So we told them that, well, those weeds grow there. They may look kind of sad, but they're actually doing a job. So if you're gonna replace those, you need to make sure that you've got somebody who's tested the soil and then can give you plants and things to grow that are consistent with the grass that's there, or the soil that's there. And the other thing was, he mentioned, putting some rocks around the existing culvert. And so I think he needs to look into that a little bit more as to what size and how much it's gonna take and so forth and so on.
And this is right next door to another property that we had before us, almost identical situation with the brook up against the bank where the house is, and then there's a relatively flat area between the brook and the road, and that's wetlands in there, and that's what he's talking about. I guess wanting to get rid of the invasive, so we suggested that he get a hold of an environmental company can give him some guidance on that,
Right.
so. All right, so motion then to, table, 2025, 294 Jeremy Swamp until our next meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's see, what's next? Oh, I guess we gotta go
So we're back to Coon.
All right, so we'll have to go back to.
Trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so my suggestion is, Carl,
We can have a discussion this
Correct.
evening, but we can't
Vote
vote
on it.
on it.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a presentation, or?
I'm here.
All right, you're here. Once again, an action date on this, or no? Okay.
So, again, for the record, Megan Miller, Civil 1, Project Manager, representing our applicant, Ro Bawa. We listened to your comments, and we implemented the changes that were suggested. A construction sequence has been added to the plan. We did verify that there are no endangered species as listed on the NDDB. We also added a planting plan on the southern end of the development. That includes 30 natural shrubberies, blueberries, bushes, high bush, blueberry, mountain laurel, and summer sweet to mitigate the effects of this development. Additionally, a footing drain has been added to the plan right here. That is energy dissipator for the footing drain. For the footing drain.
Oh.
So stormwater, as we previously discussed, stormwater is being collected through the yard drains and then being directed here to a modified riprap plunge pool to dissipate the energy. It has been sized for a 25-year storm event, and during the site walk, it came up, where is the energy dissipator for the footing drain? So the footing drain would be directed right here, outside of the regulated area. So that has been, so the main comments from the last meeting were the construction sequence, the planting, and the NDDB. Otherwise, the plans have been kept the same. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a few,
That's
like I
okay.
always do, right?
No,
So could you briefly go over the sequence that you provided us?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn to the right page. So, it's right here. So the first step is to stake out the limits of all construction. Additionally, then the contractor would install the anti-tracking pad, which would mitigate, again, any sort of sediment from entering the roadway. Hay bales and siltation fence and other erosion control will be placed as shown on the plan. That is on the downward slope of all areas. You can see that in orange here. Additionally, we have silt fence up here for this area of the site. Clear all vegetation within the construction area. All trees and shrubs less than 6 inches diameter shall be chipped and stored on the site. This plan is mostly meadowland, so there's not that much to be chipped, but any trees could be. Strip topsoil material and stockpile prior to rough grading of the driveway. Stockpile material at this location on the plans ensure adequate erosion control measures are placed. So we have silt fence around all stockpiled topsoil. Mass excavation of excess material will occur during this time. Cut and fills will be made in the material, the process of the site as necessary. And all slopes will be loam seeded and mulched. Install any erosion control blankets on all sloped areas as indicated on the plan or as necessary. And then, so really, those are just this area. And we have areas of erosion control blankets as well, all throughout the site. And again, if it's necessary at time of construction, the contractor will be directed to do so. And then installing the building, excavation, construct the foundation, retaining walls, and constructing of the swimming pool, and then installing the septic system area, which is located right here. We have construction fencing around it as well to prevent any sort of damage to the septic system during the time of construction. And then installing of utilities, storm drainage pipe, and then rough grading of the area and driveway, and then pavement and fine grading. And then really, the idea is to restore areas once they are disturbed, once they're fully finished, restore it, get it seeded, and then let it continue on with the next step of construction.
I have a question. Has there been any other change in the policy with respect to the trees that are down between the bottom of the and the water?
No.
So everything is staying the way it stayed when we...
Our site visit, correct.
So since our last meeting, I had a chance to look at the plans a little bit closer, and I took a ride out there today and stood at the top of the hill and looked down to sort of familiarize myself with the location a little bit. And much of the clearing and grading and tree removal has already taken place. And from where I was standing looking down there, it appeared to me as though activities within the 100-foot buffer have already taken place. I'm just guessing. So I raised that concern. And then in addition to that, and looking at your plan, you have an area on the driveway, the second corner there, where it shows 1-to-1 grading, and a quick Google search for what it is seemed to suggest that erosion control matting, for the most part, was not recommended for slopes at that ratio. And then there was another one that they recommended, I forget what the nomenclature was for it. So I raised that point. And then the couple other things that concern me is that it's 1.8 something acres, of which 90% of the lot has been cleared already. So there's a potential for a considerable amount of erosion over there, I think. So that's another concern that I have. The next concern that I have is your application calls for bringing in 420 yards worth of fill within the regulated area. And I'm assuming that's to fill in the 12-foot high retaining wall that you have proposed? Is that what the fill is for?
So, can I address
Anything you want.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
We run pretty free here.
You never know. Thank you. So these trees on the shown here on the plan, but to your point, yes, the site was a meadow grassland type
Okay.
area.
Well, it's all gone now.
It was meadow, how do I put this? It's all gone, like, it's all,
The excavators are up there, the driveways, they're starting to sort of carve the driveway in at the top, and it's all cleared. I could see a row of silt fence all the way down at the bottom, and what looked like a small barrier of trees, 20, 30 feet wide, and then the lake.
okay.
So, I mean, technically speaking, I think that's a violation. And when you have a violation and then you come back to the board, we call that an after-the-fact application,
Yeah.
in which carries a penalty with it. Just saying.
Absolutely. I mean,
Okay.
this is news to me.
All right,
Um,
well, maybe you might wanna swing out there and see what it looks like, cause to me, they had the entire thing stripped.
Of topsoil.
Yeah,
Okay.
so.
Because there was, I just want to make
So
sure
what
we're on
I'm-
the same
I
page.
guess what I'm sort of
Yeah.
saying is your sequencing plan is already kind of out the window a little
Interesting.
bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because there was an existing kind of farm road in, so I
No.
just wanted to make sure
This is
we're
a
on the same
muddy
page.
thing that they started, they got the flags in where they think they want the driveway to go, and they started putting it in.
Yeah, it has been staked out. I would say that is the construction that I was
Okay.
aware of. The building was staked out, and the driveway.
Okay,
Okay. And I did know that when we discussed it at the previous meeting, that my applicant did receive approval to cut down some trees administratively.
They
So-
did?
Yes,
Okay.
so I do want to make, and that was viewed at the site visit.
Carl, that came in as a minimal activity, and I think that was a minimal activity application that.
Yes, and that was-
yes, and that
I'm
was.
sorry, came in as a minimum?
That was a minimal activity, so that was done administratively because,
I see.
yeah, because
Okay.
it was just taking down the 2 trees and then Jordan made the
And did
decision
you
that it did.
have, did they give you some sort of a plan or whatever they were gonna take down?
Yes, it is. Do you want me to
Okay.
run up to the office and get that for you?
No, not at all.
Okay,
Thank you, though.
okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
I mean, we have to be back here next month anyways,
Yes,
so I will
exactly.
absolutely check this
That's
out.
why I'm trying to give you
Yes.
this information now.
No, I appreciate
Okay.
it. So, I can go out there, take a look,
Okay,
and reassess and address this at the next meeting.
okay. So I have concerns about the slope of your grading, your erosion control mats. I have concern over the 12-foot-high wall with the 420 yards of fill that you need to bring in to fill the wall in. And the general fact that the entire site has been cleared and I think is highly susceptible to erosion over there. And when I look at what was originally proposed for the preliminary approval on that site, it's quite a bit different than what you're proposing. I think the house was up the lot further, the driveway came down and went into the house on that side, on the opposite side. There were no retaining walls, none of that in the preliminary plan, so it's, in my opinion, significantly different than what the preliminary approval was.
Okay, I'll take a look at that as well.
So I'll probably be asking you at some point what other alternatives you might have considered that wouldn't require 420 yards of fill in the regulated area. And so just think about that between now and then.
I appreciate it. No, thank you
Okay.
for the heads up.
We can't vote on anything, so that's all we can do tonight. I would have made the suggestion to the commission that perhaps this should go out for an auxiliary study, because I'm somewhat fearful of this lot for the reasons I've stated. But we can't do that tonight.
Okay.
So that's where we are for now.
Thank you for your time.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. What else have we got? What did I do with the, I lost
right here, cease and desist on Old Poverty Road, which is an old issue. It
That's
just
gonna
keeps
be
coming back.
continuing, that's the land
Right.
trust, is they're
Right.
trying to work out something with the owner, I guess,
Maybe in the
restitution
spring they'll
or.
come out and say what they're
something.
planting.
Alright, let me borrow that. Alright, let's see, that was, oh, we went backwards to get to that one. Okay, so the cease and desist then will stay in place. You have anything that you wanna bring to us, Sonia?
Just the bills and receipts from December. We have, you remember that big influx of applications we got back in December, so we have about $5,715 in receipts from December and January up until now, so that's
Okay,
no bills, just the receipts.
alright, anything else, Gavin? Okay, motion to adjourn?
No, we have to approve the minutes.
I thought they just kinda went if we didn't. Alright, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Discussion, corrections, all in favor? Aye. Okay, now, can I make a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Alright. Do I have a second?
Oh, yeah.
Do I have a third? Do I have a fourth?
All right.
Alright. Motion to adjourn has passed. Thank you. Alright, I guess, you want me to bring some of this stuff upstairs? Well, it needs it, I think.
Supposed to snow tonight.
Is it just an inch or something?
Couple inches,
Couple
they said
inches?
maybe.
Oh, God. Go for it till later.